brought our lanyards out. Tell me something, girl.
Yes.
Aren't you tired of living in Trump's world? Or do you need more health insurance and to not die poor? I'm crumbling with all the bad things I'm shoving into my mouth. And all the lies I tell myself. I'm off my medicine, watch as I dysfunction. Canada, you look good now. My name is, Alex.
Yeah.
I'm Canadian.
Yeah, I know that. That's why we're friends. Okay.
Hey guys, my name's Beth Rowe.
And I'm Alex Kern.
And we're Persisters. Little hoots and howlers.
How's it going, guys?
Everybody's
Great.
good?
Oh, someone's still wearing sunglasses. We are ready to party tonight. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. First of all, we'd like to thank the West Side Comedy Festival for having us, especially Nick Armstrong.
Yes, thank you, Nick. Thank you, Westside Comedy Theater. What an awesome place. We're so honored to be a part of this.
I'd also like to thank the 4 people that I got to come in here.
Yeah! Look at these people.
Yes.
You're also beautiful.
You are. I mean, just gorgeous.
Just to give a little bit of insight what Persisters is. Persisters is a live show and a podcast. It started off after the 2016 election. It became a place where it was an all-female show where female performers could come, feel safe, have something to say. Feel safe is weird that I have to say that. It's 2018. Feel safe. So each show is kind of like a female variety show. We have storytellers, we have stand-ups, we have musicians, writers, poets, even burlesque dancers.
Burlesque, baby. That's the beauty of it all, right?
Yeah.
Just show us what you got. As long as you have, something down there. Anyways, it's also a podcast. It's also a podcast, which is starting more recently in March because we wanted to talk a little bit more to our guests, sit down, interview, and then also reach a broader audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So tell your mom, your dad, your friends, who else?
Your cousins, your aunts, your uncles, your second cousins, your first cousins, your third cousins, and your fourth.
Yeah, that's right. So today is our first ever live.
Fully live.
Fully live squared, 2L, what do you want to call it? Shut up, Alex. Our first ever live podcast. So we will see our guest work, and then we will interview her right here on the stage.
I gave her a song, and she really just did too much with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We started with a song. Okay, so our first guest, like we have more than one. We have one guest, which is all you really need.
Yeah.
So we are going to show you a clip of her show.
Tell us a little bit more about her show.
Her show is an IFC show that she wrote and starred in called Neurotica, and our girl's name is Jenny Jaffe. Let's roll it.
Morning, Mary.
Hey, Ivy. Brought you your skin latte in your sterilized travel mug.
Thanks. Mouths are icky. Come on in.
Hey, Sabrina! Cinnamon raisin bagel, toasted, prepared while wearing 2 sets of gloves.
Thank you.
Now put this on.
Hello, Ivy.
Hello, Dennis. Is it Mummification Monday already?
No, I just came by to make sure you're doing all right.
Oh, why wouldn't I be? Coffee, bagel, OCD relatively under control, small but thriving business in beautiful upstate New York.
So you haven't seen it?
A mega dungeon in Mapleton? But mega dungeons have been driving mom and pop dungeons out of business all across America. I have to talk to the mayor about this. Mr. Mayor, isn't there anything you can do?
I'm sorry, Ivy, but my hands are tied. But seriously, there's very little I can do. It's the free market in action, but as long as you provide the same great service you always have, you'll remain competitive in the marketplace of ideas. I wouldn't worry about it.
But if I don't worry about it, how will I prevent bad things from happening?
By working hard, but ultimately accepting that the universe is indifferent, and you can't actually prevent anything?
Okay, something I can actually do.
Well, not all the paperwork is signed yet. You could bring it up at the town hall meeting.
A town hall meeting? You mean public speaking?
Oh, Ivy, I know. But maybe you can win some hearts and minds. Perhaps even get over a fear.
Ah! You like that?
Second clip coming up.
So, Brian, what brings you here today?
I wanted to try something different. Maybe some humiliation.
Wow, that's certainly a very...
Oh, sorry, I was scared of the flu.
A flu?
Yeah, it's nothing serious. Anyway, I like being called.
Okay, are you still contagious?
I'm almost done with the antibiotics. Are you okay?
Okay, yeah, okay. No, it's not me that you should be worried about, you pathetic, okay, one second. You get a flu, it wouldn't kill you. This is just a flu. You've coughed before. This is great exposure therapy. I said go bend over the bench.
Oh. Yes, mistress.
You like that?
Why are you so far away?
You've done this 1,000 times. You're working on with Dr. Levinson. Stay in the moment. That's it. All right, bitch, I'm done playing games. You're in for it now. Don't look at me. First, some mood music. Helps me work.
Meditation for hypochondriacs. Disc 1.
You walk in here, pathetic, disgusting piece of human garbage, and expect me to even look at you right there on the floor, your very presence making me want to literally vomit. Everything about you literally makes me want to throw up.
Okay, Ivy, just stop, all right? Please. We're all afraid of something, you know? Like me personally, I'm afraid of crayons. I'm an art teacher. I wasn't the best player. That was right. Thanks. Sorry, it's not relevant. I don't know. Today I just wanted to have an intense, humiliating, and expensive experience. And I just feel like it's not working out.
Intense, humiliating, and expensive?
Working out.
Intense, humiliating, and expensive, you say?
Yeah. I'm still in love.
Yeah, you changed my cable provider, bitch.
Why can't I talk to a person?
I'm here all night. Nobody can remember my password.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Neurotica. And I bet you're ready to meet the one and only Jenny Jaffe.
I tried not to watch those.
Sure, that's
So I
why
was
we
like,
brought you out later.
Hearing out, yeah, because I was like hearing it backstage, and I was just like, wow, I hate my voice. I have like a deep, resonant voice in my head.
Sure.
Like in my head, I have like a beautiful, like Kathleen Turner, like
Sure.
gorgeous kind of growl, and then I hear it.
You just learned.
I'm a cartoon squirrel.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with I almost said a Kathleen Turner squirrel. But yeah, there's
Nothing wrong with the Kathleen Turner squirrel.
But every time I hear myself on a podcast, I'm like, that's not a woman's voice.
It's a squirrel.
That's a squirrel. Why they have this little squirrel on podcast? What's that squirrel got to promote?
So much. So many nuts and so much stuff to look forward to in the winter.
I'm here to promote my nuts.
Yeah, great.
Don't eat them. I stored them away from me.
Do you know what I say to people when I talk about Neurotica, your show on IFC? What did I say?
You said
IFC. You said
In my brain I said IFNC, which
you
wouldn't be
might have
that
said
bad.
that too, but
You know.
got it.
IFNC. That's what I say when I'm frustrated with the network.
IFNC. I describe it as like a dominatrix meets Gilmore Girls.
Thank you for saying that, because that town is entirely Stars Hollow.
Great. Do we have any Stars Hollow fans in the audience?
No, I like. It's so
yeah, big
Hands
one.
going up.
It's so funny because I didn't grow up in a small town. Like, I grew up in kind of a big metropolitan area.
Where did
and
you grow up?
Well, I grew up in Silicon Valley.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So everything I write is set in a tiny small town because I'm obsessed with the idea of mayors, and it's because of Jaws, which is my favorite movie.
It's filmed right across the water from my town.
Oh yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's why, like, when I used to go swimming when I was younger, my cousins would be like, "Be careful, Beth. This is where Jaws happened."
It happened for real.
And now, actually, shark attacks are happening on Cape Cod.
No, I thought it was supposed to be in like Martha's Vineyard, but
It is Martha's Vineyard, but it's like right across the water is where. So they were like, "Oh, the sharks are obviously
Well, it's the fictional town of Amity Island, because Amity, as you know, means friendship. I love mayors. I love mayor characters. It's because it's such a weird amount of power for a human to have.
Yeah.
Like they're always like kind of corrupt. I put a mayor into everything I write.
I love that.
Like I don't know. I don't know who the mayor of the town I grew up in was.
Are you thinking of getting into politics eventually?
God no. You just watched Neurotica. We did a Hustler shoot for that. Actually, you know what? Everything's out the window now. If I were a man, I would.
Sure, that makes sense. Oh, wait, man.
Yeah, if you were a man, you'd be like, we have a new candidate coming, Ellen. We're going to interview her in just a moment. Here's a look at what she did right before this.
I'm a queer Jewish lady. I feel like it's not super likely. I also don't love confrontation.
Okay.
And I cry easy. So I feel like I wouldn't be good at it. I'm deeply unqualified.
Like, look at the people who have recently cried and really gotten away with a lot. If you're a male,
it really depends on, are you pretty when you cry?
Me?
Or are you Kim Kardashian?
or are you Claire Danes and the chin shivers?
You know what? I don't know that I've never like watched myself cry for real.
Are you crazy?
But hold on,
Not done
I
that.
kind of think I become pretty when I cry because my lips get all puffy and like
Sure.
just like your
yeah.
your eyelashes get all dark and stuff, and like
collagen, yeah.
I do feel like maybe I eventually get pretty. I don't know if I cry. I get pretty in the process of crying.
Yeah. No, it sounds like you cry pretty. I feel like you would really be aware if you didn't.
Yeah, I think like I've been in a place recently where I've thought of getting eyelash extensions a few times.
I've
but
done it a
crying,
million
like,
times.
Too much, and I'm like, I just like gotta get to like a better emotional ground.
Yeah.
And then I feel like we'll try this.
Okay.
That's right.
But also, like, as long as you can't cry for like a day, you can get them.
But you can cry them because the one time I did get them, my dog died, and I cried them off. So I feel like
Maybe don't do them because then other animals will die.
do you think it was causal?
It might be. So maybe just like
Oh, I hate that.
tint them.
I'll
Try
do that.
tinting.
We'll
Right.
do it. I feel like I was very confident wearing eye makeup today. I feel like it's been one of those.
Your eyes do look great.
Thank you so much. But it's been definitely one of those periods where it's been like a real gamble if it makes it through the day.
Yeah.
And and today it did it. So
Where's your
Small victory. Yeah, let's give her a round.
Thank you.
so much. The podcast audience can't see, but there are hundreds, maybe 250
I would say almost
people here.
almost 250 people here.
This is
Everybody knows you cannot walk onto the stage.
Oh, here, if you want to sit, you can sit right at my feet.
Yeah.
What is this? A Jackson, Maine concert? Feet Alley? Oh my God!
Bringing Jackson, Maine back.
This. I've just never seen anything like this. It's like you hear about like festivals, like everybody's here and they're wearing like.
There's so many people dressed up as you.
It's really crazy. There's like this. There's like a huge contingent of people in these like red wigs. It's great. Hey guys.
Yeah.
I love your sign.
I want to ask you a question. You said you grew up in Silicon Valley. What's it like growing up in a town where everybody's trying to make something to be the next best thing?
I feel like I just wasn't aware of what Silicon Valley was when I was growing up. I was like, I grew up. It's like I wasn't like the biggest fan of my town. It's a very like bro-y place.
Lots of sweatshirts.
Sure. So is Santa Monica.
It was also in the 90s. Like, so it wasn't really what it is like now post-tech boom. It was like early bubble. So like, because I left in 2008, which like, so it was still like, it was tech, it was everything, but like I wasn't aware that other towns weren't like this.
It was like undiscovered nerds.
Kind of, I guess. I mean, Silicon Valley, the show hadn't come out yet.
Sure.
And, but it's funny because like, there will be stuff when I go back. Like there are self-driving cars just everywhere in Silicon Valley.
That terrifies me.
It's so scary. I don't want to drive.
It's the worst when you
now.
pull up
I'm
next
like,
to
I'll
it.
go to Big Sur. I don't care about falling off a cliff so long as there aren't self-driving cars.
Yeah, no, it's really jarring. You like pull up next to it, like all over the place though.
Wait, where are people sitting with self-driving cars?
In the back seat. It's really wrong.
No.
What are you gonna say?
No. Yes.
It's like you're British? And just pretend you're British? Because that's what I do.
Is that what they do in England, though?
Well, they sit on the other... I'm saying you're sitting on the British driver's side. So I would be going around being like, tally-ho, we're in a self-driving car. We are.
Oh, really good accent you got there. What is there?
Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
I'm from the Isle of...
She's from Liverpool.
Of places. Yes. Liverpool places. It's a little known. Hot.
Oh, yeah. What do you drink there? What do you eat there?
Just the full glass of wine I took backstage. That's why we all talk like this. And I lost it again.
It's good.
Okay. Besides self-driving cars, what is like another thing that makes where you grew up different than say Mapleton, where your dominatrix lives? I want to be really careful how I say this. There's a lot of money, and I think when you grow up around people with
drugs,
a lot of drugs.
There are a lot of drugs, but there's also like I don't know. There's so many like, it gives you kind of this perspective of like wow, like legitimately there are so many unhappy people. The CDC investigated the town I grew up in because of its rate of suicide. It was a very dark thing that does. So that's part of why Project You're Okay started, which I think you're gonna have on
we
here.
can talk about that right now.
But,
we don't have to wait.
But yeah, it's like because people kind of don't talk. So there's like a weird bell curve around suicide statistics, like very, very impoverished communities, and then like the very, very top 1% of the country. Those are like the two places where the most suicides take place, or the two populations in which there's the most suicide. I'm not asking for, I'm not saying there should be like sympathy for the 1% or whatever. I'm just saying like it's this interesting
mental
statistic.
Doesn't.
But I think that's the thing is like that's really what you see. It's like these are the people who are like basically running the world. And I've never seen so many like people who don't talk about their problems and people who just like try and hide it and mask it and more stuff, and yeah, it's crazy. There's like but so yeah, I obviously have OCD and I have assorted sundry other mental health afflictions, and I grew up in this town where you do not talk about it. And like luckily in my family you do, because like we were the sort of most liberal people in our neighborhood, but like you just don't talk about it. In my high school, like you definitely didn't talk about it. Like it was very, very stigmatized.
But also like being a teenager and talking about it.
I mean, and also being a teenager in the first place, yeah. But it was also like it's this super high achieving place where there's so much pressure, and that wasn't like what was going on with me, but I think that is part of the reason. So like that's sort of like the weird thing about it. So I started this mental health nonprofit, which is basically the resource that I wish I'd had when I was a teenager, which is sort of like an It Gets Better project for mental health. It's currently being run out of the Child Mind Institute in New York.
Amazing.
ProjectYouAreOK.org. It's great. I'm very proud of it.
Did you start it while you were in New York?
I did, yeah. I started it 2014. So I was in New York from 2008 to 2016.
And it's spelled Project U as in the letter U and then the letter R-O-K. And the letters O-N-K.
Yeah, well, and I feel like I'm losing this massive audience right here, sitting in front of me, the ones that I'm looking out on. So I'm gonna bring it back.
Get off the stage.
Yeah,
have to get off. No, they're engaged.
My security is on it. Don't even worry. These kinds happens everywhere. But yeah, so like that, I think that's just like the thing, is you get this kind of perspective on, it's a weird perspective to sort of just have on the world, is like what value wealth actually has in a sort of like soul sense, and the reality is very little.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like the biggest takeaway. It's also just like stuff that I didn't realize growing up, that there was anything weird about this town. And I think it's interesting, like being older and being like, oh, like looking back, and especially like that Silicon Valley, like the show has become a thing. I'm like, oh, like I understand sort of now. I don't know. I can see it a little clearer.
It's a little weird that you had to have like there had to be a show about your town for you to understand what other people's perspectives were about your town.
Perspective, like just like going to college and comparing
where you
stories, because you don't know anything about, you don't have an objective view of your town. It's the only place you know. And like the high school I went to was a very sort of unusual place. It was like really athletic, but like our teams were like water polo and golf, and like there were just a lot of kids with a lot of issues, and a lot of very absent
and no one
parents
talked about it,
giving them money and letting them do whatever they wanted. And it's like you just see, like it's the Frank Ocean song Super Rich Kids. Like that was this high school I went to. We were referenced on the OC, so that is a horrible shame.
It was the OC is great.
The OC is the best, but it was for being the place you could get a really good fake ID, which you could for a while.
Oh
wow. Yeah, lots of.
Still, I'm sure. Still,
I don't know if you still can. Like,
because
it
of
was
all
like this
the
whole
lamination, not the lamination. What's it called? Where it's
hologram.
Yeah.
There was like.
I don't know if that's the right word.
But yeah, it was. But like that's sort of like the place it was. My high school reunion is this weekend. I'm not going.
Oh, but can you like also like when you said that it's a place full of like absentee parents? Now those people are quite possibly absentee parents
themselves.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
That's a whole nother. That's like an OC reunion show called Absentee Parents. Don't you think that they would be?
I honestly, if they made an OC that was just like sort of OC TNG and they were like the parents, I would love that.
It would just be Peter Gallagher. It would be an intervention about Peter Gallagher not getting more plastic surgery, right?
It should be. He was so handsome.
I mean, but also like, was he?
Yes! What are you even saying, Bethany?
Well, the type of
if that is your name.
You're like, this is too much.
What?
The type of handsome where like if you met him, you're like, this is too much.
Yeah, it would be too much. Like in person, it would just be like, I understand how that translates to camera, but right now, my eyebrows are offended.
Yeah, a lot of features. Too many features.
So many features.
Just aggressive features.
Should we pivot?
Yeah, let's pivot. Speaking of like aggressive features, you lived in New York.
That's the pivot?
It's like Ross's pivot.
Like you were like pivoting for
Pivot. What
Yeah.
New York? That's how I got there.
You went to NYU?
I did go to NYU. I graduated in 2012.
Cool.
So yeah, it was like this. I was like very dead set on NYU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was too, and I applied.
The
and they
crowd
said
is
no,
going crazy.
no.
This is insane. There's so many NYU.
Oh, you went to
alum here.
NYU?
Oh my God,
You went to
everybody.
NYU. Yeah, guys,
NYU
calm down.
everywhere. You too? Oh my God, what is that? 7?
Oh my God. This,
Oh my God.
You guys exchanged
Wow.
info afterwards.
Yeah. Oh, you were roommates? So you went to NYU.
I did.
How was it?
It was good. I liked NYU. It was like I sort of going to NYU is a very. It's not like a collegiate experience, but I didn't really.
'Cause you're
want a
in
collegiate
Manhattan,
experience.
yeah.
You just are like living in New York and going to classes. So it's like living in New York with like very few responsibilities. It's great.
Sure.
I did start working while I was in NYU though. Like I started work like. So I got really involved in sketch comedy like the second I got to NYU. I was on this group called Hammer Cats.
Is that through NYU or through
Yeah.
another? Okay.
No, it's like the NYU sketch group. And so I was like really involved in that. We performed at a bunch of like comedy festivals. We performed at at UCB a lot and places like that and around the city. And I became director eventually and had to step down because I was hired as a writer and cast member at College Humor, which used to be in New York.
Oh,
So
while you were at school.
while I was at school, yeah.
While you were all drinking beer and getting high, this bitch had a job.
I also drank beer and got high. For
Okay, no, you can't
a
tell
lot
people
of
that because
college.
now everybody feels inferior, and that's not okay.
No, I like, I don't know. I was just sort of like a very like laser focused person, and it was just one of these instances of like being in the right place at the right time.
Sure.
Like College Humor was looking to bring on another female cast member writer, and somebody had seen a sketch I wrote with Hammer Cats and seen me perform in it and recommended me.
I also tell people when like talking about you, I tell people because you've been writing on shows for a while, like in your 20s, which is kind of unheard of for a lot of TV writers, but it's because you came out of college and you were like, I'm a TV writer.
Well, it's weird, like, because I am, yeah, it's like there's so many good and bad, I've been so lucky, and there's so many good and bad things, but it's weird to be the youngest person in rooms, but you're like, I am not green, like, I've been doing this for a while now, and I don't know, it's interesting, like, just to sort of, like, have that perspective, but also, like, knowing it's going to catch up to me, and, like, one day someone will come in and they'll be like, I'm 22, and I just started working here, and I'll be like, fuck you, asshole. But, like, I was that person, you know, for a while, and I'm like, that fucking bitch, she didn't even know. I remember telling somebody, like, I think I just don't get hangovers.
Oh my God, God bless you.
Like, you know, and I was a very, like, I don't know. The other thing I remembered is I reported back to somebody, oh my God, that bodega, the one on 13th, it just, like, gives you free drinks if you go in there. Just go in there.
What kind of free drinks?
Well, like, they would just, like, always give me, like, a free 40 or something, but I was like, it's not just, like, that's their policy. The guy was trying to hit on me, but that I didn't comprehend that, because I was, like, you know, I just was, like, really, like, I don't know, this guy's just nice. Like, it took me a while to be like, oh, don't trust everyone, Jenny. Like,
you know what I hope for my future children? I hope they don't drink 40s.
Yeah, that would be
Like
nice.
their mother. Do you know what I mean? Don't you want that for your children?
Edward's 40.
Oh my God, did you not?
You forgot the
No,
name.
it really makes sound like a cultural movement.
man.
Not
I never did that either. I, like, it's funny, I bought a lot more alcohol than I consumed because I used to host parties because I was so anxious that I was like, if
I would have
people
been
come
friends
to
with you.
me, thank
Just
you.
to go to your parties
Well, I
and
used
drink
to
your alcohol.
host parties because I was like, if people come to me, then I could be in my space and it'll be like safe and we'll all have fun and like I can just go get in pajamas and be like, okay, everybody, we're done now. But like people like used to come up to me in college and just be like, oh yeah, I went to like a party at your place. I'm like, I don't know you. Like it was my way of trying to like have a social life while being as socially anxious as I was.
Sure.
But so it was a lot of like cleaning up other people's messes.
But then how was that as an OCD person?
the thing is, like, I'm good at it, but I don't like it.
Right.
I have like a big, I'm hugely emetophobic, afraid of vomit, and so when people would puke, it was, hey,
Yeah, I heard.
oh, this half of the audience is going crazy. That's what emetophobes are. Hi. Oh my God! Thank you so much for braving this to be here. This is my favorite bit.
But also, like, who's not emetophobic is what when someone's like, yeah, vomit. Vomit more.
There's a difference between people. There's a difference between people being like, I hate throwing up because everyone hates throwing up, and being like, this is
Bulimic.
going to, well, I guess, but also like people like being like, it will dictate my life. It will dictate my life if I think there's a chance I might throw up, so I'm not going to eat for an extended period of time, because if I don't eat, I can't barf. Or just being like, if somebody just like says the word vomit, you might just like be down for the count for a while. Like, it really controlled my life for a while in a way that is like hard to explain, except to this one woman who I need to talk to after the show.
But you drank. Right? Like, because
I did. Well, I was like kind of, it was in high school that it was like really, really bad for me. But then, like, I would never drink to the point, I only drank to the point of barfing once. And it's because I'm so afraid of barfing.
Same with Alex.
Because I'm like,
that's a fat lie.
because I just need to like, I was like, I'm so afraid of feeling nauseous that the second anything like nausea starts to hit me, I'm like, we're good, we're done. Like, I will do anything to not throw up.
Yeah.
That's great.
Now I'm kind of okay with it. And, like, in a way, I've like done it while driving, which is like, I think like a real, like, they call it an Angelino baptism. They don't.
I've never. Oh,
Wait, you threw up while driving?
I did.
where?
Drunk?
No.
On a highway?
I had a stomach flu. I was going home from work and I was on the highway. Close your ears if you need to. And I was like, they was like, I need to pull over to the shoulder or something. I don't know what to do. Like, I had taken an Ativan because I was like, I'm gonna have a panic attack if I start barfing. This is gonna be bad.
I mean, I can't.
The audience is like lifting me onto their shoulders and like passing me around. I'm crowd surfing. It's me. I'm Lady Gaga in just the first half of A Star Is Born, the fun half.
The punching in the face kind of half.
Yeah.
Watch out, front row. I'm talking to you. Yeah.
Wait, what were we talking about? We're talking about me being naive and then getting hired at College Humor.
Yeah.
And
then you came out to LA because you had a job. Or like,
Yes.
how many people, raise your hand if you moved to LA because you had a job?
wow, the whole audience.
The whole audience.
The entire stadium.
Two people out of a crowd of 250. So you filmed this show after you had moved to LA, right?
Correct.
Okay, so you moved to LA because you had a job working on
Big
Get
Hero
Ready.
Done.
What she
I
said.
didn't know you were gonna like set it up. I thought you were like asking me.
It's okay. That's my
Oops.
fault.
No, it's all good. The audience is eating it up. I got hired as a staff writer on Big Hero 6 on Disney Channel series,
not the movie.
And so I moved out to LA, but I had already signed the paperwork with IFC. So like a few months after moving out here, I went back to New York to film in a corset in New York in November.
Of course, it looks great.
It looked great.
Amazing.
You guys didn't see a clip with my rival dominatrix who becomes a character, and she's wearing basically a string bikini. She's the wonderful Alison Frasca, and she was so game, but we were filming outside for her scenes.
wow.
I was genuinely
That's why I
worried
don't
about
shoot
her.
bikinis.
Yeah.
No, I do, but only during the regular season.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very cold, so I went back to New York and I filmed this thing in the cold, and then I went back to LA, and then it took a year for it to come out. But that's how it happens sometimes.
Yeah, it's really
It was fun. I was really lucky that I got to do it, and that I kind of could make it work with other things.
How long did it take for you to? How many episodes are there total? There's
6.
Okay, and then how long did it take for you to film it?
We shot it all over the course of 3 days. Yeah.
I guess, you know what? Anything's possible when you have, like, IFC.
It was exhausting.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was great, and we had such a great game crew and cast. And
so you have to do a lot.
well, like they just art directed the director's. The director's house had this great basement. It was all filmed in Brooklyn and Long Island, and the director's house had this basement that they art directed into a dungeon because New York dungeons are so used to getting asked to be shot in for TV shows that they are so expensive. Because we looked into it, and they're all like, "Oh, this again."
SVU was
Exactly.
Wow.
Yep. So
I never would have thought of that.
it's like there's always like the thing where it's like, yeah, the perp was a real perv. He used to hang out in a place like this. And like the reality is, it's like the same crowd as the Magic Castle. Like it's not like we're not talking like
I've also never been to it. It's going to surprise everybody here. I've never been to a sex dungeon.
I thought you were going to say the Magic Castle.
Oh, the Magic Castle.
I've also never been to the Magic Castle.
They're the same place.
Yeah.
You've never been? No, but yeah, like there's always that thing on Law and Order. I actually like. This isn't the version that's ever going to happen, so I think it's okay for me to say, but like in conceiving a longer form pilot for Neurotica, I had this idea that it opens with like the Law and Order cops like coming and they meet Ivy, and she's just so fucking freaked out that like maybe she murdered someone and can't remember it, and she did something, and like she like I don't know if you guys know, but OCD's a lot of intrusive thoughts where you think you might do violent things that you're never going to do, but your brain tells you like you're a bad person, you've already done this. So it's her being very convinced she might actually have had something to do with this murder, and the police are trying to do like sexy banter, and she's like, I'm not fucking kidding. Like, can we please like I need to call someone right now?
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. The audience is, I can't even get over this. A lot of them just went out for hot dogs.
They just do, what is that called when you at a baseball game? The
wave. They all just do the wave.
Yeah.
The kiss cam is on them. Okay, lady in the 14th row.
Two in the front. Right there.
So big
Bucket hat and glasses. Guys, I'm assuming our industry? I don't know.
Most likely.
I can't see because there's so many lights in this stadium.
They so Big Hero 6 was nominated for an Emmy. Speaking of big lights,
Tell us what it's like to be nominated for an Emmy.
Well, it's funny because I actually
I'll tell you what it's like.
What's it like, Beth?
It's great. Jenny, how are your thoughts?
No, it's like, well, so it's the show that was nominated, so I always feel like I'm very, like, it's very technical to be like, okay, but it was the show, but I always want to make sure I say that because
I say my friend Jenny was nominated for an Emmy.
Thank you. So well, my agents were like, we're gonna like do a thing in the trades. I was like, okay, but you know it's the show, right? I'm not trying to like lie. So, and they were like, no, that counts. So I guess it counts,
yeah.
which is cool. It's very exciting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I woke up the morning of the Emmys and like didn't even know we were eligible because we're a daytime show typically, but we had our premiere as a primetime. So it was the primetime Emmys. I didn't think we were eligible for a nomination. So I woke up and I checked the Emmy nominations to see if Crazy Ex-Girlfriend was nominated because I have friends on that show, and I was like, that's all I care about. I love that show. They deserve a nomination. Rachel needs an Emmy. That's what I checked for. And then I was like, oh, it didn't get nominated. Fuck the Emmys. And I went back to sleep. And then my manager called me and she was like, congratulations. And I was so confused. I was very excited. Well, she said Mazel Tov. We're Jews. So it was very exciting. But that was cool. And then like it went in, they had like a congrats on your Emmy nomination donut spread.
Oh my God.
It was great. Like the donuts spelled that. It was great. Yeah, I ate an O, but
Did it bother you that so many people had touched it?
What? Yes.
Did it bother you?
Well,
like the donut display.
The thing is, nobody had touched it yet, and so I was like, I don't want to be rude, but also this is the time I'm going to feel most comfortable getting the donut. But I just realized, like, I took the O, which is just a donut. That was dumb of me. I could have eaten a G in donut form.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
No, I think that's
it's
like
like
a
a
six. You're like, oh,
nomination.
I recognize this shit.
Well, I was like, that's the most donut.
Yeah.
Like, I think I was just looking for the biggest surface area of donut pastry.
Yeah.
So that's what I went for.
I love
That's
that.
fine.
Thank you
That's
so
totally
much.
fine.
But yeah, it's very cool. It's cool to be able to like say it and like have people say it on things. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, this is so.
Jenny
this is
paid
so
me
legit.
$200 to say that she was nominated for an Emmy.
It was to not. It was to not.
Oh, to not
No,
say
no,
that.
no,
I'm
it's
sorry.
good. It's good.
Oh,
It's cool.
are
It's
you
cool.
mad at
It's
me?
cool. It's cool. No, no,
I'm so
no.
sorry.
Oh,
No,
the
I'm
audience
sorry.
is like throwing
Oh
stuff
my
at
God,
me.
throwing things at me. Yeah.
Are you
No,
okay?
it's
Do you want
fine.
to get touched up in the back?
I do, yeah. Give me
Yeah,
one
yeah,
second.
yeah. Okay, and now you are writing on a new show.
Rugrats.
Mm-hmm.
Which
And
is
you can
incredible.
talk a lot about that, right?
I can't.
What can you tell us?
That I'm working for Rugrats, and that's
That's
it. Yeah. I think that's literally all I can say.
We don't
I
know
said
how
that.
old they are.
I said that to Beth earlier. I was like, I think the only thing I can say is that I am working on the Rugrats reboot right now. I don't think I can say anything else.
When is it? Do we know when it's coming out?
Yeah.
I think they did say that in the press release, and they said that.
They can't say that.
Actually, no, I don't. I think I'm just not
Okay,
gonna
I
say
have
it.
a Nickelodeon question. Are people still talking about Amanda Bynes?
I am. I'm asking everyone. I'm like, MK Ultra, what's going on here?
I saw her once getting froyo, Tasty Delight.
What'd she get?
I don't remember, but she put like a $20 in the tip
Wow,
jar.
that's nice.
Is that what she says? That
I've had a full-on conversation with her a couple of times when I first
Did she
met
have
her.
her cheek pierced yet, or is this pre-cheek?
This is pre-cheek pierce. She
Okay.
didn't engage with people. She only tweeted. And then I told her that I wanted to Botox my knees when I turned 50.
Why did you
And
tell
then
her
she
that?
didn't want to talk to me anymore.
Where was this?
At a house.
At a house party.
Yeah. I was like...
I showed up
we were-
at a house.
I showed up
Amanda
at a house.
Bynes was there. I told her about my knee Botox plans.
Yeah. Well, I also was just like...
This creepypasta is really weird.
They, no, I had no... I just wanted to, like... engage in a conversation
to
with her,
connect,
and
is
I wanted
what
to
you
connect.
wanted
And we
to
were
do.
talking about Botox. I was like, I'm gonna get it in my knees, and she was like, I gotta go.
That sounds like a David Lynch thing. Like, I'm gonna get Botox in my knees. Goodbye, Amanda Bynes. Oh, so much of well, they're all here to see David Lynch open for us.
He's up next. He's up next.
He just is gonna come up and meditate transcendentally.
Okay, so I'm gonna, before we get into a very quick last rounding things up with either, you have a choice. Would you rather play Would You Rather, or would you like to get a question from the audience?
It depends, because there's so many hands just shooting up right
Well,
now. I'm just seeing all the
Yeah.
hands shooting up. I don't even know how we would
let's
pick.
take our photo. That's so funny.
And that's so funny because you just gave me
You
a
want
would
me
you
to
rather.
I gave you a Would You Rather. Would you rather play a Would You Rather game, or would you rather...
Can we do a speed round? Can we do a speed round to do both?
Oh, yeah.
Speed
Oh,
rounds?
we gotta
Okay,
go.
first, I'm gonna get a question from the audience. Does anybody have a question?
Yes. Oh,
Okay,
yes.
you gotta
Yes,
come
we
up
got
to
one.
the stage so I can give you the microphone.
And introduce yourself.
Don't push, everybody. Don't try to touch her just because she's coming to the
Oh my
stage.
God,
She
she's
wants a
wearing
piece of that
I
magic.
love
her
her
up.
socks and the loafers.
Yeah, you were so chic.
Yes, I was super curious. My name is Mitra, and I live in the Bay Area.
Where do you live?
In a place called San Bruno.
I know San Bruno. Oh my God.
So I was super curious because you just said Silicon Valley, and there are so many places. Which city were you talking about?
Atherton.
Yeah, I know.
She knows it.
Nobody ever knows Atherton.
It's so rich.
It is.
so
I
rich.
say, I like when people are like, "Where are you from?" And then I just will be like, because I used to say San Francisco Bay Area, but then like that could mean so many places. So I would just then I was like, okay, that's kind of douchey because then it's like I'm being too cagey. So I'm like, oh, near Palo Alto, and then they're like, oh, I know that. And I'm like, fuck. Like I never wanted to tell anyone where I went to high school because I was like, I'm nice.
It's like when people go to Yale and you're like, where'd you go to school? And they're like, I went to school in New Haven. And you're just like, okay.
I went to school in Boston. Ask me about it.
Yeah.
It wasn't Boston University, not Emory. Where did I go?
Emerson.
No.
Emerson. UMass Dartmouth.
Not
That's in
lovely.
Dartmouth.
Wait, that's in
That's in Dartmouth.
Dartmouth. That's in Vermont.
All right. would you rather? Ready, guys? Jenny. I'm gonna ask a would you rather, and then Alex is gonna ask a would you rather.
I'm so excited.
Would you rather have a sit-down televised interview with Donald Trump or Brett Kavanaugh? I'm sorry. Explain your
When you say interview, are they interviewing me?
No, you're interviewing them. You can say whatever you want.
Oh, really?
Yes. Anything.
And death is not an option.
I didn't say that.
I mean, I feel like everybody wants to have the Frost Nixon with Trump, right?
Sure.
And like, there's always a part of me that's like, yeah, I would go so Aaron Brockovich on him. But it's like, I always think when I see an ex that I don't like, I'm gonna be like, I'm doing better without you, and like twirl my hair and walk away. So, but then I'm always like, hi, like let's get lunch. So,
and then you end up paying.
Right, but so I'm like, I feel like if I sat down with Trump, like, what I want to do is stuff that I shouldn't say in a recorded setting.
Sure.
But I'm worried that I would just, like, because narcissists, like, really know how to, like, play you know what I mean? Like, I want to just say, like...
Would you just talk about yourself the whole time?
Oh, that would drive him crazy. I think I would wave my Emmy nomination in his face.
Oh my God.
And just
good
be
for
like,
you.
I don't know, it's just like any of us can get this. Like
He has one.
No.
He has a nomination, but not a win, and it like drives him crazy because Alec Baldwin won one. So I guess I would just like gather up some friends who have Emmys and like have everybody bring one in and just be like, I don't know. It's just like they're everywhere. They give them to anyone who's worth everything.
So you'd rather be in an interview with Donald Trump and then instead of being in a room alone with Brett Kavanaugh? Is that what
it's
you're
hard
saying?
because they're both terrible rapists.
Sure.
I think the reason that I say Trump and not Kavanaugh is because I don't know. It's like, would you rather interview Goebbels or Hitler? Like, I don't know.
Sure.
Which is gonna...
You don't watch Kavanaugh cry again.
I guess I don't know. I guess. They're both just hateful sons of bitches. I truly don't know. That's a fate worse than
Your
death.
answer is perfect. I think it's a great answer.
I think Trump because I feel like Kavanaugh...
Oh my God. The crowd's going crazy.
I don't even know anymore, man.
Okay, I have another one unless Alex
girl,
has one.
I got one.
Oh, Alex, go.
So, would you rather go on a shopping spree with Sarah Palin or Betsy DeVos?
Home Goods?
I'm not telling you where. I'm just that's all I'm giving you.
Where are we shopping?
Do I have to answer that because I feel like that'll change your answer?
I mean,
It could be.
could I like take Betsy DeVos to Staples and be like, here's your budget. You're a teacher for 3rd grade and no one's giving you crayons. Tell me how you teach your classroom anything, you fucking bitch. Like, can I do that?
Yeah, totally.
I
We have our answer.
I think that's my answer. Is I'm gonna be like, you have a teacher's salary. Tell me how you do this.
I love that.
Okay, great. That's what I do. That's my answer. Because Sarah Palin's like medium inconsequential.
She
now.
also has way less money than Betsy DeVos. Let's be real.
Betsy DeVos could go into Staples and buy enough
She could just buy the
shit to like
make a difference.
Make sure
She
that
just buys
teachers have
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, she should just buy. Well, yeah, she should just buy Staples and give all the supplies to all the teachers in America. That's honestly, if they want to make capitalism work for them, that's what they should do.
Okay, last would you rather, and then we're gonna wrap up with this one. My would you rather is: would you rather watch A Star Is Born on repeat or Evita?
Evita.
No.
Yes.
I've never seen Evita.
I don't really think I need the reasons why I won't succeed. I haven't started. Let's get this show on the road. Let's make it obvious. Perón is often ruling.
Tell me something.